As I look back, one moment where I chose to bet on myself stands out vividly. I was living in New York City, and my now husband was based in Memphis. Despite warnings from a mentor and my boss about the potential career limitations of moving to a smaller market, I was determined to build a fulfilling personal and professional life, and I chose to move to Memphis. This was a bold move, especially 20 years ago when flexible and remote working were very rare. The transition was tough. I felt the need to compensate for living in Memphis by traveling nonstop, and I put immense pressure on myself to prove to the doubters that I could succeed. For years, it felt like an uphill battle, with travel, navigating leadership as a young woman, and becoming a mother. Balancing these responsibilities was challenging and at times overwhelming. To succeed, I had to be intensely focused and rigorously prepared. I learned how to build strong teams and collaborate and delegate effectively. I could not do it all alone, and I had to let go of the idea that I needed to. This is still a work in progress for me, and probably always will be. This decision didn't just change the trajectory of my career, it helped shape my leadership style and my life. It taught me to find creative ways to pursue my ambitions while staying true to my personal values. It showed me that success doesn't always follow a linear path, and that sometimes the boldest decisions are the ones that allow us to honor both our ambitions and our personal lives. I'm still learning and growing, and I continue to explore how to balance being a successful leader with being present for my family and caring for myself. And I'm learning to trade some of my preparedness for spontaneity so I can continue to show up as my authentic self at work, at home, and everywhere in between. Betting on yourself doesn't mean having all the answers. It means having the courage to ask the right questions, to trust your instincts, and to keep moving forward, even when the path isn't clear.
So the example that I can think of that was a real turning point for me was very, very early in my career. It was actually my very first supervisory role. And I had gotten that role because I had been a good individual contributor. But with that leap to supervisor, I didn't recognize that my job had changed. And so I tried to still be an individual contributor. And I thought that my responsibilities were actually the responsibilities of the team. And I tried to do everything myself. And I learned pretty quickly that that was not going to be successful. So I delegated for the very first time. And I was nervous about it because I had this perception of myself like I could do it so well. And so I delegated to the team, and I was nervous about it. I micromanaged a little bit. But at the end of the day, what the team produced was so far superior than what I would have done even if I had had the time. And it taught me the power of the team. And when you surround yourself by amazing people, they can do anything with you. And, it's something that has been refined over the years with all the different teams that I've worked with. Sometimes I got it right, sometimes I didn't get it right. But the power of the team has been something that just has resonated with me. And when I think about the team that I work with today, their resilience, they can handle anything that comes their way, their attitude, their positivity, it's just reinforced for me every single day. And that lesson is the most important lesson that I have ever learned. And that is surround yourself by the best people, and together you can do anything.
If I reflect back on my career and had to focus on one decision that changed my trajectory, I would say it was going from being a deep technical expert in financial lines, which was my background, to being more a leader of leaders. Knowing that moving forward I needed to rely on the expertise of others really forced me to hone my leadership skills and take various different opportunities that were no longer relevant to my specialization. I really think that's what ultimately has influenced the trajectory of my career.
So it's a common question that I think many of us get asked, and it's a fun one to answer. What has changed over the course of my career for women in the industry, female leaders in the industry? And as I look back, I think my history is a little bit different because my first 4 leaders were female leaders. I don't think there were many, if any, CEOs of insurance organizations at the time, but my sponsors, my advocates, my role models, my mentors were women. And then I would say that the second half of my career, it was probably men. And so I've had this terrific balance of role models and leaders and mentors that come from both sides. And I've learned a lot, both styles. But I would say as I look back and think about leading here at the Hartford, what's changed? I think women have gotten more confident. I think that women aren't afraid to talk about their careers, their compensation, ask for opportunities that maybe they just didn't have the confidence. So I think that we have changed. And I think the workplace is changing for all of us, right? And this is even pre-COVID. There's a flexibility that feels, at least at the Hartford, where we want you to bring your authentic self to work. And there's a flexibility for perhaps a working mom that we didn't feel before. So I love where we're going. There's so much more opportunity for all of us, but I think it's a time in the industry where women have been emboldened to take more chances and have that confidence to be able to do that.
A decision or moment that changed the trajectory of my career, and I think the bravest thing that I've done in my career was to uproot my family and move across the Atlantic for a job opportunity in the US. And I remember my husband saying that, okay, you're either really risk tolerant or you're just plain crazy. We'll find out. But it changed the course of my career, making it truly international. And it gave me the chance to test my leadership in a completely new cultural setting. And that is an experience that taught me so much, and it really added incredible value to my growth.
I fundamentally believe the way to be really strong in business is to continuously stay connected to the customer. And at times, as you're moving through leadership and you're moving up and you're getting further and further away from clients, it becomes harder and harder to stay disciplined about being in the marketplace, finding time to make sure you're connecting, whether it's through phone calls, whether it's through meetings, whether it's through events. But that discipline to me has served me very well. At one point in my career, I always put Friday as a time to make calls, schedule lunches, make sure I was connecting. People are more available Friday. They're much more happy to talk on Friday. And I found a different way in which I could really get information and stay quite connected to the marketplace. I have felt that is critical in how I lead, how I understand business. It's a direct form of communication, which to me, in a filtered message, is really difficult to understand. You have to appreciate clients' passion for issues. You have to appreciate clients' stress around issues. And there is always going to be other things, particularly internally, that can overcome the priority of that, whether it's due dates and various issues that have to be addressed. But it is an absolute discipline, and I find it time every week to schedule things and make sure I'm at least reaching out and finding times to hear and listen to what's really important to clients.
It's curiosity, and it's taking one more step. And I think so much of what defines a person is, are they curious? Do they care about other people? Do they care about understanding something that they've never understood before or learned before? And after 42 years, and I'm 66, I love to learn every day. And the second part of this is one more step. And what do I mean by that? When you think you have answered the last email or made the last call or carried the last feeling, you haven't. To me, what makes a great career is caring so much that you always take one more step for the people you care about, your clients, your colleagues, and everybody in between, particularly your family. So again, thank you so very much for allowing me to be with you, and to all of you, to a great career in your future, and always be curious.
I've always embraced the mindset of a servant leader. My focus is on empowering others, helping my team see strengths in themselves that they may not even recognize. Leadership to me is about lifting others up, creating space for growth and building trust. When we build strong teams and invest in each other's success, we all rise together. That's been my guiding principle through every challenge and opportunity.
It's really just work the problem. In any situation, there's a problem to be solved. And the only thing that moves you forward is just working through that problem. That means relying on the information that's available at the time, absolutely leveraging the great people that you have around you and their expertise and perspectives, and making the best decision you can. And just doing that over and over again until you get through whatever challenge or opportunity you're facing. I think that the only true sign of failure is when somebody becomes so crippled by indecision that they just don't continue to move forward. So that's the principle that I keep coming back to so far, and it's worked. And if I had to throw a second one in there, I would say work hard and then work harder.
I would tell my younger self, build your network early and nurture it often. Surround yourself with people who will challenge you, support you, and advocate for you when you're not in the room. Feedback is a gift, and having sponsors who believe in your potential can make all the difference. Leadership is not a solo journey. It's shaped by the relationships you cultivate along the way.
If I could go back and whisper one truth about leadership to my younger self at the start of my career, I would probably say that it's all about you, but it's not about you at all. It's the great leadership paradox, right? Because as a leader, you have to be the catalyst. You have to trigger change. But then it's really all about your team. And I think your role as a leader is to identify and remove real or perceived barriers to success for your team members. And the more amazing, driven, successful, rock star team members that you are able to attract and retain, the better, because their success will reflect on you and make you successful.
My belief is that true leadership is not measured by titles or accolades. It is defined by the lives you have touched, the trust you have earned, and the leaders you have inspired to rise after you. This belief has guided me throughout my career and shaped the legacy I hope to leave behind. From the beginning, I have led with purpose, with a focus on hard work, integrity, and a deep commitment to do what is right. I have always believed that respect and trust are earned, not through words, yet through consistent actions. By showing up fully, making thoughtful decisions, and holding myself to the highest standards. I have always aimed to lead by example. I am deeply grateful for the mentors and coaches who helped me shape my journey. Their wisdom, encouragement, and belief in me pushed me to grow into the best version of myself. Because of their impact, I have felt a strong responsibility to pay it forward, to invest in others the way others invested in me. One of the greatest joys of leadership has been helping others discover their potential. I have made it a priority to develop and empower future leaders, those who will carry the torch forward with confidence, compassion, and clarity. Watching others rise, thrive, and lead with excellence has been the most rewarding part of my journey. If I am remembered for anything, I hope it is for leading with confidence, making bold decisions with clarity and conviction, compassion, putting people first, and leading with empathy. Purpose, acting with intention and staying true to my values. Ultimately, legacy is not about what we achieve. It is about who we lift along the way. My greatest impact, I hope, will be measured in the leaders I have helped shape and the culture of integrity and excellence I have worked to build around me.
Goodness, it feels like it was just yesterday that I was making my way to New York to actually give my Women to Watch speech and to accept my award. That was 2013. Wow, how time flies. So yes, I guess it is time to think about legacy and impact. And when I think about those two things, I hope it is really encapsulated around people and around culture. That I led with heart in creating a culture of excellence, that I instilled a passion for execution and delivering results, but that I always prioritized people, which in my opinion is the heart of any organization and any organization's greatest asset. I would hope it would be that I empowered individuals and teams to grow and to develop, to be at their very best and to perform at their best, that I instilled a growth mindset, that I also fostered a culture of continuous learning, and that every challenge that faced us was an opportunity, and that I modeled the way. And it also actually reminds me of my roots. As a proud North Carolinian, I've always thought of our state motto as a bit of a personal compass. And that state motto is to be rather than to seem.